Welcome to the Gen X Journey podcast. Dive into all things important to Gen Xers, from advice on aging parents, expert interviews, product reviews, and heartfelt conversations. So put down the joystick, grab your Walkman, dust off your old yearbooks, and welcome to the Gen X Journey.
Everybody, welcome back to the Gen X Journey podcast. This is the kickoff to season 8, believe it or not, of the Gen X Journey. And Keith, it's just you and me this time. Noel's still down with the little case of strep throat. But can you believe that we've been doing this for 8 seasons now?
It's pretty wild to think. This started way back, no pun intended, with the Wayback Chronicles podcast. And we kind of evolved this podcast journey into something that was kind of near and dear to our hearts when we talked about nostalgia. And that's just the Gen Xers that we are. So it's hard to believe that we're already, this is going to be our 130th episode, believe it or not. So
Gosh,
we're 7 seasons in already. This is starting the 8th one, but it's been a lot of fun, and I think we're finally just starting to cut our stride, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, thank you to all of our listeners that have been following us throughout this whole journey called the Gen X Journey. And, we have a great fan base, which we never take for granted. And we try to do a quality show for you all each time. Sometimes we don't nail it, but we certainly have the best intentions. But, thank you. So many states have listeners, and then countries worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
It really is sort of mind blowing to us to realize that we have these great listeners that we have no idea who you are, but thank you. And we look forward to doing more for you down the road. So today we wanted to really sort of segue into some of the things you can look forward to in season 8 and share some of the story ideas that we're developing for future episodes. So Keith, why don't you kick us off with a few ideas?
Yeah, I will. Before I do that, though, I do want to acknowledge you were talking about some of the places that we've had listeners, and really, if you look at our downloads all time, we've pretty much had somebody from every single state in the United States, which is just incredible to me. Like you say, it's one thing to think that you've got some people listening to you here and there, but to think that I think the only state, believe it or not, that we don't have a listener from is South Dakota. So
Really? Wow.
Pretty wild to think that. And as far as the world goes, we're talking, we've had listeners from the Netherlands, Iran, Finland, Australia, Singapore, Canada, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, New Zealand. I was down there in New Zealand beginning of this year. I threw some like stickers there, so maybe that got some downloads. Even China. We've had Russia, Japan, India, Sweden, Denmark. The list goes on and on. We have at least 30 different countries that have listened to our episodes too. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. And like I said, I didn't want to I would be remiss not to say that this has definitely been a worldwide podcast. And we never thought we were hoping some people from Texas might listen. But this idea of being a Gen Xer definitely has resonated worldwide. So thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, but talking a little bit about some of the episodes coming up, the first episode that we're going to have coming up for season 8 is kind of special, kind of more intimate, I think, for at least Steve and I and Noel, even though he's not with us, him as well. But it is basically, we've talked a lot about having a episode on the importance of attending reunions, alumni events, and the like. And it just so happens that we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Going Band from Raiderland, which Steve, Noel, and I have all three been. It's how we got to know each other, and we've all been a part. And that event is happening over Labor Day weekend. We are excited to have Kelly Gordon joining us. She's a member of the Going Band Association, which is kind of the alumni leadership team. And so let's listen a little bit about the importance of alumni events from Kelly's point of view.
Kids of the 80s, and of course, y'all are maybe late 80s, early 90s, but we didn't know how to do anything other than face-to-face.
Right.
That's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like we feel more comfortable with that. And I think there is a desire for that. There's just an authenticity, I guess, about it. And so there's just nothing that can replace physical touch, looking people right in the eye, being right there by them. While I know there are some people that just can't be here, and I hurt for them. I know several that I just can't for whatever reason. And I know they're going to want to be looking at everything we do, and I hope they can, and I'm glad we can provide that for them. I cannot wait to see and hug and visit and high five so many people that I haven't seen in forever. There's just something that's just heartwarming about all of that.
That's awesome. We're looking forward to spending that time together very soon, and that's
doubt.
actually next week for us. So,
Man,
hope you all enjoyed that episode, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share a small part of our lives and many memories that we have for that weekend.
absolutely.
So another episode that we're going to look into, and I think this is going to be a blast. And we're going to talk about the Gen X midlife mixtape, and we think it's going to be a great, one, to have participation from our audience, and two, it's just going to remind us just how awesome is the music we grew up with once again, and as we create our midlife mixtapes. So a lot of options and a lot of directions we can go with that topic. So I think that's going to be a blast.
I do too. I definitely see a Spotify playlist in our near future. So, and what's going to be neat about that is we're going to bridge to another episode that kind of follows the music theme right after that, and that's is going to be new music that Gen X actually likes. We tend to go back to our 80s on 8, 90s on 9 on Sirius XM. But every once in a while, I'd kind of like to discover something new. And, through people like my son, who's, really definitely into the new music scene, and just sometimes getting on, Apple Music and going, is there anything new out there that resonates with me? So we're going to talk about some of the ones that resonate with us. And we're also going to be asking our X groups, our Threads group, and our Facebook groups, some of the new music out there that resonates with them. And again, we'll put a playlist together on some new music out there that might hit home, might be something more unique for our listeners to enjoy, that can kind of, I guess, separate out our nostalgic music that we love and maybe give us something new to be excited about. So I'm looking forward to both of those episodes. I think they'll tie in nice back to back.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. My playlists are a little predictable and tired, so it'd be nice to add some new tunes to that. So,
amen to that.
Cool
Mine
idea.
too. Mine
so,
too.
Keith, I don't know about you, but I was definitely a latchkey kid. My parents were always working when I got out of school each day. So we're gonna do a just a show about what it's like to be a latchkey kid and some of the memories of that, and what we did to kill time while we're waiting for mom and dad to get home from work. And so, Keith, were you a latchkey kid?
So I really kind of wasn't. My mom didn't work. So I was one of the unique Gen Xers that I did have my mom when I got home from work. So, but that being said, I did know a lot of friends who, they really learned how to make a good bologna sandwich at the end of the day, and this ties into, I think this episode is going to be interesting. I feel like it's going to tie into the Art of Being Bored episode. So I'm really excited to see how Gen Xers, without social media, when they were home trying to maybe stall from doing a little homework that night, what did they do to fill that time in the void? I can tell you right now, I Dream of Jeannie was one of my favorites and that whole afternoon lineup. So it'll be fun to see and hear what a lot of different individuals say. So this, as you can see on these next few episodes coming up, we want these to be a little bit more interactive with our audience. So we are really looking forward to getting some feedback from people on things that they did as latchkey kids, things that they enjoy on the new music front and the like. So I'm excited about these.
Absolutely.
So one of the other ones that we're going to be talking about is, speaking of being at home, and I think this ties in also good with being a latchkey kid. And that episode is why Gen X invented working from home. So, technology, those kind of things have definitely given us a little bit more of free leeway to be able to do that. But I truly think that there's a tie-in from the time that we got home and did our own things and had our own creativity to bridge that gap of why it's important for us to have that ability to work from home. I know that you work some from home, don't you know? Don't you, Steve?
I sure do.
And Noel, I said Noel, but I was just saying he does some as well. I have the ability to. I don't necessarily like to nearly as much, but I do have the ability to work remotely if I want to. And I think that a lot of Gen X likes that independence. It gives us,
Yeah.
we're self-starters. I don't think Gen X is one of those that feels like we have to have people constantly pushing our spine to get to work. And I think that stems a lot from being able to be a latchkey kid and just kind of getting your stuff done on your own because you knew you had to.
Yeah. And I think that also, the definition, one of the many definitions of a Gen Xer is that we have that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think
Mm-hmm.
many cases working from home started as, because we were entrepreneurs. And by the way, the whole like remote office idea
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just a COVID thing. I mean, we were doing
No,
that before COVID made that a necessity for society. But
right.
yeah, very cool idea.
Well, I think this ties into what you're going to be talking about next too. I mean, working from home and creativity. What's the next episode coming up?
So this next one's, great segue, Keith, is side hustles that Gen X invented. And I always say that if I knew then what I knew now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have started that landscaping company. And because me and my buddy Tracy, we had monopoly on all the
Huh.
real estate owned homes in the city of Portland, Texas.
Oh man.
And we were doing, 20 homes a week. And gosh, that was, easy money for us, and never thought that would be a career. And gosh, wish I would have known that back then.
I mean, I think this also is one of those that had we had the technology of today, I just I do not think, and I've said this in several episodes, I do not think a lot of the new generations have the exact creativity that we could have had we had these tools. A lot of you'll see a lot of these videos. A lot of them are emulating the same thing over and over and over again. And I think if we would have had the tools at that age that they have available now, I can't imagine what Gen X could have done. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
talk a little bit
Yeah.
about the side hustles, things like that we invented, and possibly some things that we probably could have invented earlier had we had this technology available to
Yep.
us. And yeah. And speaking of that, I mean, we've talked about the side hustles and we've talked about technology. So it's kind of funny. We were talking about all these episodes. They kind of lead into each other, right, Steve? So
Yeah.
the next episode is about AI. Right? We've used AI a little bit on this show. And so the next episode is going to be AI. To Gen Xers, is it cool or is it creepy? A little bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
We
A little
all
creepy.
grew up in the 90s watching Terminator 2, one of our coolest movies of the early 90s. And I kind of feel like I've embraced AI recently. I've enjoyed discovering what I can. In fact, my wife was down with a headache last night, and I got into it was the weirdest thing. I got into this Elton John kick. And so I just dialed up Chat GPT and I said, okay, let's talk a little bit about Elton John. And I had an hour-long conversation. I'm not even kidding. I had an hour-long conversation with Chat GPT going in the weeds about the recording sessions that could have happened, the hypothetical, like, could you imagine being a fly on the wall? I mean, it was like having a conversation with a real person. And it was fun because ChatGPT had the resources to be able to back what they were saying, which
Yeah.
half the time I don't.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Not kidding. It's true. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So I think there's something to be said about AI and I'm excited about it, but I also realize that, and we're hearing about it day after day after day. It's going to be taking a lot of jobs from people. And so it's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're opening Pandora's box there a little bit
Agreed.
with AI.
Agreed.
Yeah, as we get towards the latter portion of this season 8, we get into the holiday. We're going to really sort of visit some topics that really going to sort of rev up some nostalgia for us. And the first holiday related show we have planned is we're going to talk about our favorite Halloween costumes.
Oh yeah.
And so, I know you all had our store-bought costumes at some point. We had our homemade costumes. And so it's going to be fun to talk about that, have a little nostalgia. And, we might just have to pull out a bag of Smarties candy or something just to eat while we're recording that show.
There's no question that your Batman mask is coming up somewhere. I believe in this with all my whole heart and soul.
100%. 100%.
Up until a couple of years ago, one of my favorite costumes, I don't want to get into it, but it was made by one of my friend's moms. Fantastic. And I still have the mask At least I did up to a couple of years ago. So I may have to go diving in the old storage room to see if I still have that too. But that I'm excited about that episode. I mean, like you said, going from we've all seen that picture of that all of us look like serial killers, in our plastic, that probably if it would have caught fire, it would have fused to
bank
our
robbers.
bodies type of costumes. Yeah, exactly. Like I think of the part of the Batman where the Joker's in the mask, kind of what we all look like in our Halloween costumes. So it's going to be fun to talk about that and the transition to stuff we made on our own because we were tired of that. And I'm so jealous of the costumes that are out there today. Some of them are fantastic.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm like, good night. If we would have had some of that material when we were younger, that's awesome. So I'm excited about that. All of the holidays. So we've had a couple of episodes talking about Thanksgiving memories, some Christmas memories. We may even throw out another Christmas ideas that we did last year. Some of our hopes and dreams and likes for different Christmas. We might even bring our wives into some of that too to get a female perspective. That should be fun.
Yeah, great
but
idea.
One episode I think, in my opinion, is going to be one of the most special that we've done is how Gen Xers have transitioned to holidays as an adult. We were all excited. We've done several episodes on what it was like Christmas morning when we were kids, what the toys look like, what the landscape looked like. But as we've aged, and I'm sure you feel the same way with the family that you're part of, but giving is almost as fun to me as getting was as a kid, if not more. The joy that I get when I hit a home run with a gift to my wife or to mother-in-law or, a kid, it's special. It's more special than that Death Star probably that I got. No, I don't think so. I'm not going to go that far. But anyway, it's pretty cool. Anyway, so, but I'm excited about talking about the transition from holidays as an adult. The competition amongst the neighborhood for the best lights and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be a fun, heartfelt episode. So I'm excited.
Yeah, gosh, yeah. Giving is really fun. It's just, when you find that thoughtful gift idea that they're not expecting, gosh, it's always fun.
It is. It's the best. Like, you hit the home run. You're like, this is awesome. It's such a great feeling.
Yeah.
But
I try to keep notes. I try to keep notes throughout the year on like different things like, that might be a Christmas gift idea right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So hear me out. Have you ever because the problem with Amazon is your wife's on it too, right?
Yeah.
So have you ever had a partner in crime that has an Amazon account that you're like, okay, let me Venmo you some money or give you some money on the side if you get this on your Amazon account for me because I don't want Robin to see it. Have you ever done that?
I have to be honest. We have our own Amazon accounts for that reason.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea. We may have to do that too. That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, tying everything home, the slam dunk episode, the episode that we have been ready and waiting to provide to everybody. Pickleball, baby. Pickleball.
Maybe.
It's going to happen eventually.
50-50 shot, I think.
I'm going to give it a 30-70. I'm not going to give 50-50. That's a lot, way too much more credit. But no, I think one of the episodes I think would be good is what are some sports or active things that we can do that's fun as Gen X? And pickleball will tie into that for sure. But we're going to talk about some of the other sports. People love doing things like golf. There's a couple of other similar sports to pickleball out there now. That are taking shape and getting more and more popular. So we're going to kind of incorporate a pickleball episode talking about just kind of the basics of it and what makes it fun and what makes it a social event. And we're also going to talk about some of the other activities that people enjoy. And we will have different guests coming on to talk about their passion, whether it be for golf, whether it be for pickleball, whether it be for racquetball, just working out. The people like these 4K runs. I think they've lost their mind, but hey, some people do. Looking forward to getting some guests on to talk about their different interests as they get active as a Gen Xer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hope we pull off that pickleball episode. Keith, when you were talking about Elton John, it occurred to me we probably should try to squeeze in some deep dives and
absolutely
maybe an Elton John or various other topics. And so I think we got a little room in our season to make that happen. So that should be fun.
I think so too. And don't forget, I know that way back, she's always in the background planning a year for us to explore. I'll tell you the 1985 series leading up to Live Aid was our most downloads ever. So we would be remiss to not find another year, at least for way back, to find us another year to highlight. So that should be coming up as well. In fact, why don't we bring her on right now and see if she can pick us a year?
Yeah.
Let's go way back to 1989.
1989. Wow.
Okay, we haven't done 89 yet, and that's going to be interesting because that was the year of my start of my senior year in high school. So I'm excited to see how this is going to go. This ought to be interesting. Right, pre-grunge, right? Pre-grunge.
Yeah.
Pre the end of an 80s era of music transitioning into the 90s. This is going to be pretty interesting to see how this plays out.
Technology was starting to become part of our lives a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
So
that'll be good. Good choice, way back. This should be a good episode.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
Very
So
good.
well, it sounds like we've got that full season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blast. I think some fresh topics that we haven't had a chance to approach yet, and some great ideas in our brainstorming session for the three of us. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And again, Noel, we hope you get to feeling better real soon. Miss you. It's kind of weird to just have two of us. So we're looking forward to have the trifecta back. And so you get to a speedy recovery so we can get this season 8 started in style.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, everybody. We'll see you in our next show.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the Gen X Journey podcast belong solely to the hosts and guests and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of any entity they are associated with. The information provided is for entertainment and informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of qualified professionals for any specific issues they may face. The creators and contributors of this podcast make no representations as to the accuracy, completeness, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its use.